I said at the beginning of this year that this was going to be a pivotal year. Why did I say that? Because in 2023, the LIBOR is supposed to go away. And the SOFR, the new interest rate benchmark, is supposed to be in place. And there's over 600 trillion in notional value derivatives. All of that needs to be converted by 2023. And when they tested it in 2000, and I think it was 19, it was a big fat fail. They tested it with 80 trillion. And then you heard nothing about it, but they postponed requiring the SOFR in every contract till 2023. So they couldn't do it then. Do you think they can do it now? It's never in history been done before. All of this are huge experiments, and they're experimenting with your life, with your savings, with your children's future, with your future. Is that okay with you? That's up to you. I can tell you, it's not okay with me. Everybody wants to be fairly paid for their labor. Everybody wants their wealth to last forever. But they don't want your wealth to last forever. Do they? No. But the fact of the matter is, only gold fulfills the original 4 functions of money. They've taken 2 of those functions away. Fair payment of labor, because if they could push a button and push in negative rates, well, you've worked, you've made your deposit, and now boom, it's attacking your principal. You're not getting fairly paid for your labor. It's bad enough that inflation is eroding that. That's why it's not a store of value. Not a store of value. But they're taking both of those out. So all this new money is a tool for accounting and a tool of barter for trade. That's it. What is its value? What are you working for? You will never, if they have their way, the likelihood of you having the ability to accumulate wealth in this new system, some will. But will that be you? Probably not. Watch, because originally we had gold money, we had silver money. This is labor-based money. It's real. It's commodity-based money. It's tangible. And it's used across the entire global system, economic system, art, food, manufacturing, everything. It is in your control. You hold it, you own it, runs no counterparty risk. Your privacy. It's out of the system, as we saw on the money flower. Then they transitioned us to the Federal Reserve note. This thing. It's a debt-based system since 71. It's in their control because interest rates were the way that they controlled the rate and speed of inflation. Now we've been anchored at 0. This is why and there's no purchasing power left. This is why they have to change. But at least if I have this in my pocket, it's still private. Doesn't protect my purchasing power. It does, at this point, protect my principal. And this is where they're taking us. Central bank digital currency. It's programmable fiat money. Who's going to write the programs? You? No. This is a club, and you and I are not in it. A CBD system could increase the amount of data generated on users and transactions. The collection and storage of this data would pose obvious privacy and cybersecurity risks, but it could offer opportunities for proper authorities to leverage. Oh yeah, they're going to leverage it. They're going to leverage it good. But I got news for you. It will not be to your benefit. It's really critical. This cross-border activity is more important than your privacy or than anything else. They want an integrated global value chain, mean that the world is no longer a collection of island economies, but rather a dense network of interconnections. So all we're hearing right now is about deglobalization. Look over here. This is that misdirection, another example of the misdirection. Look over here. We're hearing about deglobalization, but that's in the supply chains. Over here, they're talking about a dense network of interconnections, and this is all through the central banks and the financial system. That interconnected system is falling apart, and because it's already incestuously interconnected, it will reverberate throughout the system. And so what they're talking about is doubling down on what isn't working. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. But of course, if the central banks have direct control over all of this, then they can keep control of it, right? Well, they're losing control of the system. So do you trust them? Do you trust them? I mean, I know I'm being redundant in that question, but that's really what you have to answer for yourself. Because if you stay inside of this system and do nothing about it to protect your wealth, to protect your purchasing power, to protect the value that you've already accumulated, they'll take care of that for you. You don't have to worry about it because you will own nothing and be happy. Do you believe that? It's true. Money can't buy you happiness, but it sure does take the yuck off your head. Using real names rather than private keys, that's what the CBDC is about. So there's no privacy. They'll keep talking about, though, how important that privacy is, so they get you to think that they actually give a crap about your privacy, but they want to know everything. We've been shown over and over and over again how our governments and how our central banks have collected data on innocent citizens. So you may say, why does that matter to you if you have nothing to hide? I'll tell you why it matters to me, because it's none of their business. I want my privacy. I want the wealth that I worked so hard for. You realize you work for and try to save money that by design, since the day you were born, by design, you have been losing purchasing power. They just like it slow enough that you don't ask for a raise. It's okay if the head of the corporations make 1,000 times what their workers make,